feel like I really understand that we have a responsibility to change the narrative around what we are delivering to young people in the classroom.
Behind the polished smiles and palace traditions, another royal love story may be quietly falling apart. After 5 years of marriage, whispers surrounding Princess Beatrice and her husband, Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi, are growing louder inside royal circles. Insiders hint at rising tension, emotional distance, and differences that neither privilege nor patience could fix. What once looked like a modern fairy tale is now shadowed by strain, family pressure, and unresolved past ties. But what exactly happened behind those palace doors that pushed their marriage to the edge? The untold story of Beatrice and Edoardo's marriage. In the summer of 2020, the world felt almost frozen in time. Streets were empty, airports were silent, and millions of people were locked inside their homes as the global pandemic reshaped everyday life. In the middle of that uncertainty, a royal love story quietly unfolded behind the historic walls of Windsor. On July 17, 2020, Princess Beatrice, the eldest daughter of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, married Italian property developer Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi. But unlike the dazzling royal weddings people had come to expect, this one was remarkably different. No grand crowds were lining the streets, no towering floral displays stretching across a cathedral, no long guest lists filled with world leaders and celebrities. Instead, the ceremony took place inside the small royal chapel of All Saints at Royal Lodge in Windsor. Only a handful of guests were present. The atmosphere was intimate, almost secretive. The bride wore a vintage gown that once belonged to Queen Elizabeth II, carefully altered to fit her. The dress itself seemed to symbolize something meaningful: simplicity, family, and quiet elegance in a time when the world was overwhelmed by chaos. Many people at the time called the wedding touching and romantic. It felt like a moment of calm during one of the most frightening global crises in modern history. But even then, there were subtle signs that this royal union was not unfolding traditionally. One detail that caught attention was the extremely small guest list. While the pandemic certainly limited large gatherings, royal watchers noticed that several senior members of the royal family were absent. Among the notable figures reportedly not present was King Charles III, who was still Prince of Wales at the time. For a royal wedding, especially one involving the monarch's niece, that absence quietly raised eyebrows. Still, the world moved on. The newly married couple settled into life together, appearing at a few public events and welcoming their daughter Sienna into the family. From the outside, everything appeared stable. But 5 years later, the tone surrounding this relationship has changed dramatically. Recent reports suggest that the calm image the couple presented to the public may have hidden deeper struggles behind palace doors. According to claims circulating in American media, Princess Beatrice has allegedly spoken directly with King Charles about the state of her marriage. If true, that conversation alone reveals just how serious the situation may have become. Sources speaking to Star magazine claim the king is fully aware that the marriage is facing significant pressure. And insiders suggest that very little escapes his attention when it comes to family matters. One palace source reportedly described the monarch as deeply unhappy about what he has been hearing. The same insider suggested that the king believes the warning signs were present much earlier than many realized. And then there is the issue of money. Reports claim the royal wedding may have cost around $2.5 million. For many observers, that figure now raises uncomfortable questions. Because if the relationship was already experiencing tension behind the scenes, why proceed with such a costly celebration in the first place? Was the wedding an attempt to present a united front? Or did the problems only begin to surface after the vows were exchanged? Royal insiders insist the king keeps a very close watch over family affairs, particularly when the reputation of the monarchy could be affected. For a family that has already endured decades of public scrutiny, the possibility of another high-profile royal split is not something the palace would welcome lightly. And yet, whispers about Beatrice and Edoardo's relationship have been growing louder. Some sources claim arguments have become more frequent. Others suggest the pressures of royal life, combined with business commitments and family responsibilities, may have slowly pulled the couple in different directions. But those familiar with the situation hint that the real tension may not lie solely within the marriage itself. Because long before Princess Beatrice entered Edoardo's life, there was another important relationship that never fully disappeared. A connection that still ties their lives together today. And as royal watchers are beginning to realize, that complicated dynamic may now be playing a much bigger role than anyone expected. But could the delicate balance between past relationships and present commitments be the hidden storm threatening this royal marriage? And what exactly has been happening behind the scenes that the palace would rather keep quiet? Keep watching as we break down every detail. The Blended Family Challenge. When people discuss the rumored troubles in the marriage between Princess Beatrice and Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi, the focus often falls on royal expectations, family pressure, or the intense spotlight that follows every royal move. But beyond the titles, traditions, and carefully staged public appearances, another quiet layer may be influencing the story. It is a situation that began long before Beatrice ever became Edoardo's wife, a modern blended family that requires constant balance. Before Edoardo met Beatrice, he had already shared a significant chapter of his life with another woman. His former partner, Dara Huang, is a well-known architect and entrepreneur who built a strong reputation in her field. Together, they welcomed a son, affectionately called Wolfie. Although their romantic relationship eventually ended, their connection as parents never truly disappeared. Co-parenting kept them linked, ensuring that both remained actively involved in their son's life. For many families, managing a blended household can be complicated. But when one parent is a member of the British royal family, the pressure grows far greater. Ordinary family moments suddenly become public discussion. Every appearance, every interaction, and every decision can attract headlines. From the outside, the situation has often looked respectful and cooperative. Both Beatrice and Dara have spoken kindly about Wolfie, and insiders say the adults try to maintain harmony for the child's sake. In fact, Wolfie even played a special role during Beatrice and Edoardo's wedding celebrations, highlighting how deeply he was included in their growing family. But even when everyone tries their best, blended families bring emotional complexities that can quietly build beneath the surface. One challenge is the constant presence of the past. In many step-families, the former partner may fade into the background over time. But that is rarely the case when the ex-partner is a successful public figure in her own right. Dara Huang continues to run her architecture business, attend events, and occasionally appear in media coverage connected to high society circles. Because of this, her name often resurfaces in stories about Beatrice and Edoardo, keeping the earlier chapter of Edoardo's life firmly in the public eye. That kind of attention can create uncomfortable comparisons. Royal watchers sometimes speculate about the dynamics between the women, even when no open conflict exists. Headlines frequently mention Dara whenever Wolfie appears in photographs or attends family events. For a royal who values privacy and dignity, this constant reminder of her husband's past relationship can become emotionally exhausting. Then there is the reality of shared parenting itself. Wolfie divides his time between two households, meaning communication between Edoardo and Dara remains necessary and ongoing. School decisions, holidays, birthdays, and family gatherings all require coordination. In many families, this is handled quietly and privately. But when a royal title is involved, even routine parenting arrangements can attract media attention. The situation becomes even more complicated when the public tries to interpret every gesture. If Wolfie is seen spending time with his mother, some observers speculate about distance within the royal household. If he attends events with Beatrice, others analyze the moment as proof of harmony. These endless interpretations can create pressure where none might otherwise exist. For Beatrice, the challenge may not be rivalry, but learning to navigate a role few royals have faced before. In the past, royal marriages were arranged within aristocratic circles, where complicated family ties stayed hidden. Today, relationships are more complex, with step-parents, former partners, and shared parenting becoming normal parts of life. Yet under the royal spotlight, those realities feel far from ordinary. Sources say Beatrice tries to embrace her stepmother role, showing warmth toward Wolfie in public. Still, balancing those emotions can be draining. With Dara Huang's successful career and constant presence in Wolfie's life, this delicate triangle continues to shape one of the most intriguing dynamics in their marriage. But while the complexities of co-parenting may create quiet tension behind the scenes, another issue looms even larger over Princess Beatrice's life. A shadow tied not to her husband's past, but to her own family's most damaging controversy. Because beyond the blended family pressures and public scrutiny lies a scandal that has haunted the royal household for years. Could the ongoing fallout surrounding Prince Andrew be placing even greater strain on Beatrice's already fragile world? Stay with us, because what comes next may reveal just how deeply that scandal reaches. Royal scandal strains love. The shadow of Prince Andrew's scandals has long loomed over Princess Beatrice's life, quietly shaping her world in ways the public can barely see. While many focus on royal ceremonies, fashion, and palace appearances, the York family has endured years of relentless scrutiny due to Andrew's connection with the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. These controversies have not only tarnished the family's public image, but have also created a subtle, persistent pressure that reaches even into Beatrice's marriage. For Beatrice, living under the weight of her father's notoriety is far from easy. Every appearance, every social event, and even private outings are interpreted through the lens of past scandals. Reports have suggested that she often feels the need to manage her image meticulously, balancing the dignity of her royal title with the uncomfortable reality of public judgment. The emotional toll is significant. While she projects poise and calm in public, sources indicate that privately, the ongoing scrutiny has been a source of stress and anxiety, leaving her emotionally drained and constantly vigilant. But the impact does not stop with Beatrice alone. Her husband, Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi, has also had to navigate the complexities of being married to a royal whose family history is under constant global attention. Edoardo is an accomplished property developer, but no career success can fully shield him from association with high-profile scandals. Public curiosity about Andrew often bleeds into speculation about the younger Yorks, creating an unrelenting spotlight on Beatrice and Edoardo's private life. Sources suggest that even ordinary events, such as attending social functions or family gatherings, carry added tension because media narratives often twist them into reflections of the family's ongoing controversies. This strain has reportedly trickled into the marriage itself. The emotional labor required for Beatrice to manage both her father's reputation and her own public image can be exhausting, leaving little room for personal recovery or the quiet moments that sustain a marriage. Edoardo, meanwhile, must reconcile his love for Beatrice with the intrusive scrutiny of a public that constantly measures his actions against the backdrop of scandal. Sources suggest that while the couple remains committed to each other in public, these pressures may amplify minor disagreements and magnify personal differences behind closed doors. The scandal also influences broader family dynamics. Invitations, events, and official appearances are often subject to intense media speculation, which in turn affects both Beatrice and Edoardo's ability to establish their own identity as a couple. Family loyalty, public duty, and the desire for private happiness collide in ways few outsiders fully understand. For Beatrice, every public smile or measured comment is also a strategic maneuver, an attempt to honor her role as a daughter, a princess, and a wife simultaneously. Maintaining that delicate balance is a constant challenge, and some insiders suggest that even small frictions could grow into larger marital stressors over time. Moreover, the persistent media attention has reportedly left Beatrice questioning how much control she truly has over her life. While other royal family members have occasionally navigated public scandals, Beatrice's situation is compounded by her marriage, co-parenting challenges, and Edoardo's desire for normalcy. The intersection of personal responsibility and public judgment creates a pressure cooker environment, where even ordinary decisions can feel like monumental tests of resilience. With these compounded pressures, it is perhaps unsurprising that whispers about growing differences between Beatrice and Edoardo have emerged. The constant scrutiny, emotional weight, and need to maintain composure in the face of unrelenting public interest may quietly influence their relationship, shaping their daily interactions and long-term planning. But if the emotional toll of Andrew's scandal is enough to strain a marriage, what happens when the couple's own lifestyles pull them in separate directions? As we move forward, the question becomes impossible to ignore. How much are Beatrice and Edoardo growing apart because of the demands of a life lived in two worlds? Stay with us to uncover the details. Beatrice and Edoardo's split living struggle. Rumors about Princess Beatrice and Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi living apart have quietly stirred in royal circles, offering another glimpse into the challenges that may be testing their marriage. While royal life is often associated with glamour, ceremonies, and public appearances, the reality behind closed doors can be very different. For Beatrice and Edoardo, whispers about a split living arrangement suggest that their relationship is navigating complexities familiar to many modern couples, but amplified by the pressures of fame, duty, and public scrutiny. According to reports, the couple divides their time between London and the Cotswolds, a pattern that can place even the strongest relationships under strain. Edoardo, a successful property developer with international commitments, frequently travels for work, leaving Beatrice to manage royal obligations and personal projects in London. While these arrangements may appear practical on the surface, experts note that long periods apart can gradually create emotional distance, sometimes without either partner realizing it. Living separately, even temporarily, can subtly shift the dynamics of a marriage. Ordinary routines, small daily gestures, and shared experiences are often the glue that binds couples together. When those routines are interrupted by distance and busy schedules, intimacy can suffer. For Beatrice and Edoardo, maintaining connection likely requires intentional communication, regular visits, and careful attention to the emotional needs of one another, tasks made more complicated by the glare of the public eye. The royal spotlight intensifies ordinary marital challenges. Every appearance, outing, or vacation becomes fodder for speculation. Rumors about separate living arrangements are magnified, sometimes implying tension where none exists, and other times exposing genuine difficulties. For the couple, this constant scrutiny may make it harder to address distance privately, creating a scenario where normal challenges of work and travel are interpreted as cracks in the marriage. Relationship experts often highlight that modern marriages, whether royal or not, struggle when partners' schedules pull them in different directions. Travel, long work hours, and separate residences can reduce opportunities for shared emotional experiences, making it harder to sustain connection over time. In a royal context, these challenges are compounded. Beatrice is expected to participate in public duties, attend charitable events, and uphold the decorum associated with her title. Edoardo, on the other hand, navigates high-stakes business projects, frequently abroad, which may leave little room for quality time together. Even when a couple tries to maintain stability, prolonged periods apart can amplify other underlying stresses. Emotional fatigue, differing priorities, and the inability to share everyday moments can slowly erode a sense of closeness. For Beatrice, who already faces pressures from family controversies and blended family dynamics, managing a marriage across separate homes could be quietly taxing. Edoardo, too, must reconcile the desire for a stable family life with the demands of his professional world. Sources indicate that the couple continues to demonstrate public affection and shared family engagement, suggesting that their bond is maintained despite distance. However, the rumor of split living raises questions about how well the couple can navigate the combined pressures of public duty, private obligations, and long stretches apart. Observers suggest that even small emotional gaps, if left unaddressed, can grow over time, particularly in relationships already under the magnifying glass of media and royal expectations. Ultimately, this arrangement highlights a modern reality for royal couples. Balancing work, duty, and personal life is never straightforward. While physical separation does not automatically equate to marital breakdown, it introduces a layer of vulnerability, making effective communication, mutual understanding, and trust more critical than ever. And yet, as these logistical pressures test the couple, one cannot ignore the origins of their union, a wedding that took place during unprecedented global circumstances. Let's explore the details of their wedding, the unconventional journey that led them to each other, and how these factors may quietly shape the way their marriage unfolds. Pandemic wedding symbolism. When Princess Beatrice and Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi exchanged vows in 2020, the world was a very different place. The COVID-19 pandemic had upended life across the globe, and even the royal family could not escape its restrictions. Their wedding, held at the Royal Chapel of All Saints in Windsor, was intimate, understated, and far from the grand spectacle many expected from a British royal. While the day was described by many as romantic, it also carried the unmistakable mark of extraordinary circumstances, a symbol of love constrained by the realities of a global crisis. On the surface, the wedding seemed perfect. Family and a few close friends were present, and the couple appeared happy and composed. But beneath the smiles and carefully curated moments, the unusual circumstances of their union may have planted seeds of long-term challenges. A wedding hurried by restrictions or shaped by necessity can sometimes mask underlying tensions or accelerate the pace of a relationship before both partners have fully adjusted to shared responsibilities. Observers of royal life have noted that while the ceremony was small, the stakes were high. Royal weddings are never just about the couple. They are about tradition, lineage, and public expectation. For Beatrice and Edoardo, navigating a private celebration within a public institution meant that every choice, who attended, what was said, and even the scale of the event, carried symbolic weight. A small wedding could suggest intimacy and romance, but it also raised questions about whether the relationship had been tested under normal circumstances before formal commitment. Over 5 years later, some insiders suggest that the romance that charmed the public may now be under strain. The challenges of blended family life, public scrutiny, long separations, and the ongoing shadow of family controversies all combine to test the foundations of a marriage that began in extraordinary conditions. When a wedding occurs during unprecedented events, it can create a storybook image for the outside world, while the couple faces realities behind closed doors that are far less idyllic. Adding another layer of complexity is Edoardo's Italian aristocratic heritage. Coming from an old noble family in Italy, he brings cultural traditions and expectations that can differ markedly from the conventions of British royalty. These differences may seem subtle to the casual observer, but can affect privacy, family rituals, and approaches to public life. Where British royals often operate under strict protocol and constant media attention, Italian aristocrats traditionally place higher value on discretion, familial autonomy, and private ceremony. Navigating these divergent approaches requires negotiation and compromise, and insiders suggest that even small disagreements over lifestyle, expectations, or public visibility can become significant stressors over time. Beatrice, who grew up immersed in the British royal spotlight, and Edoardo, accustomed to the norms of Italian nobility, may find themselves balancing very different philosophies of family, duty, and public presentation. While the pandemic wedding offered a moment of shared intimacy, it also highlighted the differences in how each approached life, ceremony, and relationship milestones. Over the years, these cultural and personal divergences may have compounded, making it harder to reconcile everyday decisions, from child rearing to property management, travel schedules, and even public appearances. The symbolism of the pandemic wedding, then, is more than a footnote in royal history. It reflects the pressures of timing, the intersection of love and circumstance, and the way global events can shape personal decisions. A ceremony constrained by necessity may be beautiful in memory, but it can also leave lingering questions about readiness, alignment, and the real-world endurance of a partnership once the excitement fades. For those watching Beatrice and Edoardo's marriage unfold, the wedding represents both a romantic ideal and a possible lens into long-term challenges. A union that began under extraordinary constraints must now navigate ordinary pressures. Blended families, public expectations, cultural differences, and the persistent attention of the press. And yet, as these symbolic origins continue to influence the relationship, another reality quietly shapes modern royal life. The broader crisis facing high-profile marriages today. Are the weight of royal tradition, relentless public scrutiny, and private ambitions quietly driving even the most steadfast couples to the edge? Keep watching as we reveal the hidden patterns repeating through generations of the monarchy. Royal unions under pressure. The struggles reportedly facing Princess Beatrice and Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi are not occurring in isolation. When viewed in the context of the British monarchy, their marriage appears to be part of a wider pattern of modern royal relationships encountering extraordinary pressure. While every relationship has its challenges, royal unions carry additional burdens. Centuries of tradition, constant public scrutiny, media speculation, and the expectation of representing an institution larger than oneself. These forces can magnify ordinary marital difficulties, sometimes pushing couples toward publicized crises. Looking back, the marriage of Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson provides an early example of how royal unions can falter under scrutiny and personal stress. Their marriage, once heralded as a fairy tale pairing, became plagued by intense media attention, rumors of infidelity, and the relentless demands of royal life. Despite periods of apparent reconciliation, the couple ultimately divorced, leaving both to navigate public life while managing personal disappointment and private struggles. The challenges they faced reflect how royal expectations can conflict with personal fulfillment, creating tension that ordinary couples might never encounter. Another high-profile example is the marriage of Prince Charles and Princess Diana. From the outside, their union was a global spectacle, celebrated and scrutinized in equal measure. Behind the scenes, however, the pressures of duty, incompatibility, and public expectation created a fault line that grew over time. Diana's humanitarian work and desire for personal autonomy often clashed with Charles's adherence to royal protocol and pre-existing attachments. Their eventual separation and divorce not only reshaped perceptions of royal marriage, but also highlighted the emotional toll that constant public scrutiny can exert on intimate relationships. More recently, the relationship of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle demonstrates that even modern royals, raised with awareness of past mistakes, are not immune to the pressures of public life. Rumors, speculation, and media intrusion have shadowed their marriage from the start, forcing the couple to make unprecedented decisions about stepping back from official duties. Their situation shows that royal marriages today must navigate a complex landscape, where personal happiness, family expectations, and public image collide in ways that can strain even the strongest bonds. In the context of these historical and contemporary examples, the struggles attributed to Beatrice and Edoardo appear less like an anomaly and more like part of a recurring pattern. Royal marriages, no matter how carefully arranged or passionately begun, face unique challenges that can intensify ordinary marital pressures. High expectations, relentless media attention, and the weight of family legacy often intersect, creating an environment where even minor disagreements can be magnified. The modern royal marriage crisis is not simply about infidelity, disagreements, or personal incompatibility. It is about the cumulative impact of living a life under constant observation while attempting to maintain intimacy, trust, and normalcy. Beatrice and Edoardo, like many before them, are navigating the difficult balance of personal happiness against the weight of public duty. In doing so, they encounter obstacles that are both ordinary and extraordinary, from family dynamics and work commitments to public scrutiny and the enduring expectations of a centuries-old institution. As stories of past royal divorces and separations show, there is no simple formula for success within these high-pressure unions. Love, devotion, and effort are necessary, but often insufficient when weighed against institutional demands and relentless media attention. Beatrice and Edoardo's rumored marital difficulties are thus part of a larger narrative about the reality of modern royal life, a landscape where personal desires, family obligations, and public expectation converge, sometimes with devastating effect. Ultimately, examining their situation alongside the experiences of Andrew and Sarah, Charles and Diana, and Harry and Meghan provides context for understanding how a marriage can struggle within the royal framework. While every relationship is unique, the pattern is clear. Modern royal marriages exist in a delicate tension between love, duty, and public perception, and navigating that balance successfully has proven to be one of the most formidable challenges in the monarchy's long history. So, do you think Beatrice and Edoardo can overcome these challenges? Or is the pressure just too much to handle? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe.